Hi, AVID family. My name is Erica Levitch, and I'm an AVID program manager in California. I thought I would put together this video to share some of my favorite MyAVID resources, because if you've been onto MyAVID, you know that there are a ton of amazing resources that live online, but sometimes it's hard to filter through everything that's there and find things that are really useful. So now that a lot of us are transitioning into more of an online approach to our teaching, I thought it might be good to show you a few places that I share with my partners as kind of the go-tos for when they're looking for online resources. So the first thing that you're going to do is navigate to your MyAVID page. And you do that by going to my.avid.org. That will bring you to this page here. And if you didn't know, every single person at your AVID site can create and access a MyAVID page. If they don't have an account yet, they would simply click on this link here and create an account. They just need their email address and which AVID site they're located at. So every single person at your site is able to have a MyAVID account, even if they've never been to a summer institute or a path training. So when I'm navigating to online resources and trying to share some tips and tricks with my partners, I always start in the curriculum tab. I go directly to curriculum book web pages. If you've been to a summer institute or a path training, you've likely received one of these books. Whether or not you've had time to really dig into them during your school year, you may not have kind of seen the scope and sequence of what's really there. There are a ton of great things in all of the books that we've produced and put out. I'm just going to show you a couple of my favorites. If you're in elementary school, the Foundations book is great. It's organized by Wicker, so writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. I'm going to jump into the collaboration chapter briefly. So there's student handouts here, a Jigsaw template. Jigsaw is my go-to collaborative reading structure. And then there's a couple others that you can dig into here. What I like about this is that it has videos. So if you're trying to show someone what this looks like, or if you're trying to enhance your own practices, this is a great place to start. So there's videos for a few of our different kind of go-to collaborative structures, and they're real students. So it gives your students a better idea. It gives your other teachers at your school site a better idea about what these can look like. So that's one of my go-tos. And then another one that I like to share is our brand new last year, Writing for Disciplinary Literacy book. So again, a lot of great resources. I've tabbed the heck out of this book as I've been reading through it and learning more and more with each passing through of my reading. We're going to dive into chapter 3 again, but this is focused note-taking. As we've transitioned away from Cornell only and kind of become more inclusive of other note-taking formats, a lot of our AVID sites are feeling a lot like kind of a breath of fresh air. Like they have a lot more flexibility in terms of how they take notes and what type of formats they can use, and knowing that it's really about the process of how they take notes. So this chapter is really supporting that transition. So yes, Cornell is one of our go-to formats for sure, but it's not the only one that encourages rigor or deeper level thinking with our students. So there are some great resources here on the right side, the 5 phases, and anything that you click on here is just going to give you a PDF printout of what's from the actual book. So if you don't have the book, if you don't have access to the book, you can still get some of the resources on MyAVID, which is great. And then I wanted to kind of scroll down and to show you that there are some really good videos. So this first video about the curve of forgetting, I share with district directors when we do trainings over the summer. Some of my partners share this with their students when they talk about the why or the purpose behind note-taking. So these are really flexible and usable videos for really any audience. And there's some good student ones where they share why they take notes and kind of the purpose, the understanding when they get to high school about the value of note-taking. So some really great stuff here. And like I said, there are books for every scenario. So I would just encourage you to kind of dig into these online resources and see what else might be applicable as you're thinking about your online learning or planning for next year. So next thing, I'm going to jump into curriculum again. This is where I always send my new district directors when I'm training them and working with them. Curriculum is a great place to stay because a lot of wonderful resources live here instead of having to navigate to a bunch of different places within MyAVID. So we just did curriculum book web pages. We're going to jump briefly into core strategies. So here there are categorized areas of interest. Collaborative structures, great, very important for lesson planning. Family engagement is a wonderful space that they've developed. There are resources in both Spanish and English. So there's parent resources, professional learning, and how to engage families. So we're talking about those AVID family nights that you might have where you bring everyone together, do a little bit of learning and teaching the family some of the strategies that you've been working on with their students. So those are some great resources. I'm going to dive briefly into academic language and literacy for AVID Elementary because this is a new resource that AVID has developed recently, and there's some pretty great stuff in here. So if you go to Quick Start Resources on the left side, there are routines and scaffolds for all these different layers of language development. So bell work, listening and speaking, reading, writing, and exit tickets. So we are all academic language learners, especially students. So these resources really help develop those skills and build and grow with the students as they develop those skills. So great resources here. And then if you look at some of these others, we have collaborative study groups, focused note taking. Again, like I said, that transition has been a huge focus and really taking that Cornell only mindset away and building the process into the note taking across all content areas. Higher level thinking, so developing those levels of questioning, deepening the levels of questioning. Philosophical chairs and Socratic seminars are great ways for students to interact and engage in higher levels of content and rigor with one another. So there's just some really wonderful resources within core strategies. Now, before I sign off here, you'll notice that I have other resources here. Your district director has the entire digital library for all of our online resources. So if there's a book that you've been dying to dig into and you just don't have access, you can ask your district director to share that resource with you. And this is where they would find that resource and download that. Also, professional learning modules. These are available to your district directors or someone who's been trained in the building capacity module. And within every module, there is a syllabus, a PowerPoint, and handouts. So if you don't see these links when you click on this, that means that you haven't been trained yet, so that you don't have access, but your district director does. And all of these modules are an hour and a half, designed for an hour and a half, and it's a great way for your site or your district to get year-long AVID professional development to enhance the practice and deepen the implementation all year, so that you're not just relying on that one hit in the summer for Summer Institute. You have access all year long to professional learning that's designed, it's been vetted, and it's really supported by your AVID partners. So yeah, so I wanted to show you those resources last. Okay, thank you. That was really all I wanted to share. Just a couple of best practices and tips and tricks for my go-to spots on MyAVID. And I hope it helped you out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your AVID coordinators or district directors, or throw it up onto the AVID Educators page on Facebook. And there's always a ton of people with a ton of AVID knowledge that are willing to help out. So yeah, thank you very much and have a great day.